and we can always edit and then broadcast. And we're just going to start this stuff.
Start it.
So.
All right.
You got to know, Jen, we just go with the flow. Like, today is definitely a go with the flow. Oh, you got your mask on. What are you doing? Oh, that's true.
I'm leaving now.
I'm leaving.
I'm working. So,
I got like back to back. We're slamming today.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to leave you with the girls. The magic's working too.
But we're gonna have so much fun. Jen and I were like, Jen's like my daughter, sister. So we're gonna have a good time.
We only have 30 minutes, so we better go because we're going.
We're going. And I'll take this off. That hopefully didn't just like close us out. We're good to go. Okay. And Joseph might pop in. Bye. Okay. We're trying to do. Hey,
how cool is that you guys are open? I'm so jealous.
Oh my gosh, we're open. We just opened last week. How you like my ponytail, by the way?
It looks adorable.
Every day I have come in with like different hair, right?
It reminds me of I Dream of Jeannie.
That's I figured I would just do this and make everybody everything that they want to be.
That's so true.
Okay, so we have 30 minutes and we are today's Transformational Tuesdays, and so we're just gonna talk about everything.
Absolutely, yeah.
Pretty much everything. So I'm Pamela Giustizia with Muse May Spa. Dr. Gill was just in here with us, but she's at our practice today and we've had her slammed with patients. So she's with a patient. And with me is one of my favorite people in the world, Jennifer Bayer with Spa Mariana in Michigan.
Yes, we're in Michigan. We are still not able to go back to work yet.
Yeah. You know what? I don't think massage places here are either. But we have you virtually here, and hopefully you guys can visit us soon. Monchek was going to be on with us, but he's in an appointment, right, that he couldn't, he's working, and that he couldn't reschedule. So it's Jen and I, destiny. It's destiny. So Jen, why don't you share a little bit about your background, and because I will just talk all day about you.
So thank you so much, Pamela, and thank you for inviting me to be on. Talking about either transformational things regarding health and wellness is kind of my forte. I've been in the health and wellness industry for about 12 years. When I started off in middle school, it was the first opportunity for me to be in a strength and conditioning class. And from then on, it was like health and wellness was my destiny. So when I graduated, I became a certified personal trainer and an aerobics instructor. And I did that full time for many, many years. That kind of developed and planted the next platform for me. And I kind of diverged into the health and wellness industry from a nutritional standpoint. So I started my own business as a private chef, focusing on anti-inflammation diets, gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, peanut-free, anything that would cause allergies in people. And so I did that for about 5 years. And then that's kind of when I got into the spa industry. So currently I'm the operational director, but I oversee and I'm now in the process of creating our wellness entity at the spa, which I'm super excited about. So I've kind of, what's the word? Like encompassed. You
wear a lot of different hats, but you've seen the industry on so many different angles, which is why one of the reasons why I love you so much. But you're so diversified on all the different topics that you have knowledge on. And you live it. Like, you don't just do it, you actually walk the walk and talk the talk, and it shows in your energy and your drive and your passion. And that's why I wish you guys lived down here so much.
We want to open a spa in Naples.
I know. Well, we might have to do that, and I'll just like drive back, and we'll just kind of go back and forth. It's only like an hour and a half from here, so
yeah, that would be awesome.
Depending, right across the alligator alley. So
yeah,
yes, we should look further into that. So we had originally said we were going to talk about essential oils. Because one morning, Monchek and Jen worked together on the Spa Mariana, and they've been doing videos like every day through COVID. Like, I don't know how you guys have had the energy. We've been doing this like every day, and it's like, woo, it's a lot. But you guys one morning were mixing up your own like capsules of essential oils, and I was like, what is that they're doing? I didn't know that you could actually ingest those.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that you can ingest essential oils. Not every essential oil is going to be the type of grade that you want to ingest, so you need to make sure that it's high quality. Essentially, there's two main companies. You've got doTERRA and you have Young Living. Young Living was the first founder of high quality essential oils, and then, if you may not know, a couple of the partners in Young Living kind of branched off and started doTERRA. Now, a lot of people aren't sure what the difference is. In doing the research, they're both very high quality, but it's very little differences. But if you care about those little details, you might want, to pursue one company over the other. I think they're both great. I think that they both serve a great purpose and market to a lot of different types of individuals. I really enjoy the blends, first and foremost, especially if you're new to the essential oil world, just because it allows you to get a lot of different health benefits because you're blending and there's a lot of different essential oils within them, versus starting with just lavender and then peppermint and doing lang lang and tea tree and kind of doing it medicinally based off of, the specific desired results that you're looking for. They create these blends and you have to purchase less, and you can kind of cross use them. You can put them in your diffusers so you can inhale them. Some of them, like
can I interrupt you on that? Is that when you're talking about using a diffuser? Because I know we have these dry diffusers and then we have the wet diffusers. So one kind of uses like a steam and one it's a different kind of oil. So are you using a diffuser with the water that you put the drops in and diffuse it that way? Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But the one video that we were doing was Thieves, given the fact that, we want to boost our immune systems right now. Thieves is super great in aiding with immune boosting. It is from Young Living. doTERRA has their own kind of version of it, but for this particular video, we were using Thieves. And what you can do is you can get those capsules. You can order them on Amazon.
I was wondering, I was like, is he taking capsules and emptying them, or was he taking like they're already just empty, like vegetarian capsules or something?
They're just empty capsules, and all you have to do is just put your drops in. You definitely want to make sure that you're putting a carrier oil in there so that the body can absorb it and digest it. It's not
like olive oil or something like that.
Coconut oil, olive oil. You can always do hemp oil, whatever your preference is.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then you just, snap the capsule and you take 1 to 2 every morning on an empty stomach. And it's just one way that you can increase the healing powers of the essential oils and boost your immune system.
It's really like, what do you guys have it on your website if we wanted to learn more about that, or would we go to, because it was something I was like, I've never seen that before and I want to learn more about it, and you and I have been just so busy we haven't had time to really connect, because I'm like, girl, you have to tell me about what that is.
So we can always create like a blog or something like that. I think that's a really great suggestion right now, because of having to do everything virtually. We've been doing everything just, like we
well, maybe we could even do, because I know Montrek wasn't available today and this is like our last week. But I do love the content of the different things that we've been doing. So I was thinking about even just recording, some new content throughout, the next few months or whatever. So maybe the three of us could schedule to do a recording that would, talk a little bit more, go into more detail, and then provide some information, whether it's a blog or whatever, for people. Because I hate for people to just start like going, oh, let me take this oil and mix it up and take it. Because obviously, disclaimer there, you don't want to do that. But I
think Montrek would absolutely love to create a video like that, because
and I mean, obviously you guys would be using it on your sites. We're in 2 different states, but I think Jennifer and I are all about, and Montrek too, all about just really providing as much great information and great resources to our base as we can.
Absolutely.
And there's not like there's financial benefit on either of our parts. Plus we miss each other.
One of my favorite essential oils that I kind of got me into the essential oil world was lavender. And lavender is used a lot of times in day spas and med spas, but, for its just relaxation properties. But from a home medicinal purpose, the reason why I like it the best is because it's so multifunctional. You can use it for lots of different things. And it's usually things, if you have kids, that you're going to need a lot. Given that you guys live in Florida, you are in the sun a lot. And if you get sunburn, which, for the most part, if you live there, you're very conscious about, wearing sunscreen and things like that. But if you do get a burn lavender has healing properties to help alleviate the burn and induce and speed up the healing properties.
As in placing that on your skin, not ingesting it. So
Yeah,
you would mix that with another,
I
like you could make
coconut
go
oil.
ahead. Coconut oil, so mix it with a little coconut oil and use it as a after sun kind of lotion. I didn't know that. And then you smell really, you might even want to go to sleep.
Yeah, no, it heals very well. Or, you know, let's face it, we are using our wands and we're doing our hair. And I know I've burned myself with my curling iron.
Yeah.
And so putting a little bit of lavender, again, always with carrier oil because they are super strong, completely heals and induces. I remember I burned myself here on my arm and it healed up within like 3 days.
I literally have like little scars on my arms from like the oven, like taking a turkey out of the oven. You know, because I cook one of those all the time. I'm just kidding. But you know, people are like, "What did you do?"
You're
I'm like, "That was from Thanksgiving last year." You know,
yeah.
So I wish I would have known about that. What are some other things? Because I know we'll do like a whole thing on the oils, but I know.
Well, one more thing that I like about the lavender that you could use in the summertime is it's anti-itch. So if you get bites, instead of constantly itching them or poison ivy, you can always put lavender oil on it. Every once in a while, the body just has that external reaction to the skin. It's nothing major to where you need to go to the doctor, but your skin itches, and so you're looking for a quick relief. Lavender oil is very good for that as well.
I get that sometimes at night a lot. I just will get itchy. I don't know why.
Yeah. All you have to do is just, again, use a little bit of a carrier oil,
lavender
a couple drops.
With
you can also put it at the bottom of your feet to help induce sleep.
I've got a new job for Joseph.
You guys do foot reflexology if that's the case.
There you go. There you go. Oh, anyway. I remember when the first time I was checking out your Instagram page, not the Spa Mariana one, but your personal one, watching you doing all these incredible, I don't even know if you'd call them yoga poses or what. I'm like, check this girl out. She's handstands and like tell me about that.
So yeah, I like to dabble in a couple different types of yoga. I think my primary favorite is Vinyasa Flow. It's a great way to, if you're just a beginner, you know, they teach you moves. It's not too difficult. It's not too quick of a pace, you know, so you can breathe, you can take breaks if you need to. I would say for beginners, it's a really nice one. It helps you connect your body with movement, with the breath. If it's very difficult for you to get out of your head, I think it's a really great one to dive into. But I also really like hot yoga too. Hot yoga goes through a series. It's the exact same series every time you go in. I can't remember if it's 26 or maybe 32 poses in the 90-minute class.
It's the same series every time. I didn't know. That's actually would be good for me because if you don't go all the time, that's where I always feel like I'm 2 steps behind trying to figure out what are we doing. But the hot yoga, I feel like I'm just gonna like slide out.
It is a lot more difficult mentally and physically because the heat in the room, you know, kind of makes you feel like you can't breathe, especially when you start moving, your body temperature naturally goes up.
Right.
And so for me, I'm a very type A personality, on the go. I've got a lot in my head. And the very first time getting back into yoga, when I do hot yoga, I have this like anxiousness because I know it is going to kick my royal booty.
Yeah.
And it's just so mental.
Knowing that you're like my mini me in so many ways, I'm like, I hear you. I can totally see. I'd probably be like, mind over matter here. I'm gonna have to get out here. I better be close to the door.
Yes. And the thing is once you get over the heat, for me, after I do that first class, if I go back a couple days later, I've like completely adjusted. It's just like when people, you know, are training for triathlons and things like that. You know, when they're doing their bikes, they're doing it on different elevation because usually the, you know, race course is going to have different elevation. So you kind of have to work up to that practice. It's the same thing. Your body just has to get used to having that extra heat. And I have this saying, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And I say this to myself so that my body doesn't freak out, because sometimes when you get to the end of class and you're doing floor poses, so you're completely like on the ground, you can really feel the heat coming off of your body. and you start to like freak out, like, because you're not moving as much as what you were in
Right.
the poses. And so I just say, Jennifer, it's okay. Jennifer, it's okay.
That's great. Yeah, I do that all day long in my daily life. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
I know.
Oh man.
So,
And I can't see because I have, we're good on time, right? Look at, I can't see a thing. Yes, we're good. Okay. We have so many different topics.
I know. Well, I do have a couple of books I would absolutely love to share with people. So when I first got into my health and wellness journey over 12 years ago, or actually more, because even before I graduated, I was intrigued with it. There was a couple books that kind of set me up, you know, as far as my foundation for being curious and creative to continually, you know, keep reaching out to learn. And one of my favorite books is called Fix Your Mood with Food. And this is a book that you can get on Amazon. And the reason why I like this so much is because it's not really Western medicine focused as much as it is traditional Chinese medicine and Eastern medicine. So they really look at fueling the body with the types of foods that you eat and connecting it with the internal organs, the emotions of those organs, as well as what happens when the body is depleted of nutrients and how that can affect our mood. You know, especially in, you know, having this COVID-19 strike, you know, we have experienced on every end of the spectrum emotions, you know, anger, frustration, sadness,
uncertainty, fear,
happiness, joy,
right.
You know, both ends of the spectrum. But when things are normal and we're back to our normal lifestyle and we're into those routines, there are moments in time where we can't explain why we're frustrated or why we're feeling depressed, why we're feeling overwhelmed, why are we sad. And so this book really helped kind of connect the physical, spiritual.
I know what I'm going and getting as soon as we get off here.
Yeah, and they break it down into different types of foods based off of the emotions that you're feeling that you should be eating. And it's not something that you have to adhere to long term, but it really kickstarts your education and knowledge base of how foods truly nourish the body. You know, if you're feeling sluggish and you're always tired, well, let's take a look at your diet. Are you consuming living foods or are you consuming cooked foods?
Right.
Foods like animal protein from animals, right? Versus plant-based foods that are still, you know, alive and growing, your sprouts, your spinach, legumes, seeds like that. And so it was a really cool phenomenon for me. It really opened my eyes. And I think it really turned me on to, you know, holistic medicine as a whole, to where, you know, your essential oils, your flower essences, I'm a Reiki level 1 and 2 healer, you know, all of these other modalities really encompass, you know, that Eastern, you know, medicine. And ironically enough, they pass information through generations. And so when you look at, you know, the way that hundreds of thousands of years, you know, when you look at acupuncture and acupressure, like they pass that information down through teaching the younger generation, not writing a bunch of stuff down. And to me,
that's why it's such an ancient medicine, because it is passed through. And I know tomorrow Dr. Gill has her acupuncturist on, but that's what this whole like month-long series of things that we've been doing has all been focusing on, you know, kind of natural, holistic ways to approach. You're really getting your body in that perfect harmony with itself, because we are perfect human. Like our human beings are like the perfect design, you know, if we have it all in balance. But there's so many times things like, especially with this COVID, you know, the coronavirus or whatever, we talked about yesterday with hormones and stress and immunity, and how stress can really throw your entire body off, you know. And so recognizing how to deal with that stress and doing it in a holistic manner before it affects all of your different, you know, hormonal balance, you know, hormonal functions or whatever. And then you have to supplement that a little bit more with still, you know, bioidentical type things, but starting off with a food as a way to address the stress. That's a new book we should write. New
Yeah.
shirt, new
Or
shirt,
shirt.
the stress. Jennifer and I are going to, we swear, we keep saying we're making a t-shirt company because we keep coming up with all these great sayings. We got to jot that one down. Address the stress. See me.
Exactly. It is so true. Very much so. You know, it's
Yeah.
ironic because when I used to be a little bit more in the nutrition world and personal training where I was doing these nutritional consultations, a lot of times I would ask moms who just seemed very frazzled. They were, you know, gravitating towards sweets. And I would say, are you a worry wart? Do you worry a lot? And I already knew the answer, but of course I wanted them to, you know, ask themselves, you know, do they feel like they worry? And 10 times out of 10, someone who is craving sweets will say, yes, I'm worried all the time. I'm overthinking about, you know, the same things. I'm stressed about my job. I'm stressed about my kids. And just to give you a little like insight about how intricate and beautiful our bodies are, the spleen actually carries the emotions of worry and overthinking. And so when we worry and overthink too much, it depletes the health and vitality of the spleen. And then it becomes deficient, right? So our body starts craving sweet, which that's the taste bud of the spleen. But the spleen doesn't want donuts and cakes and cookies and sugary snacks. What it's looking for is sweet potatoes and carrots and strawberries.
And those are the things I crave. Those are literally the things, like I crave vegetables. Every once in a while I like some gelato or something, but I literally crave sweet potatoes. Like, like I just need a thing of sweet potatoes, you know? Yeah.
Spleen, your spleen's talking to you.
Is that somewhere near my root chakra also, by any chance?
Chakras are a whole nother webinar.
They're a whole nother thing, but I think those two might be neighbors. I don't know.
But you know, it's funny. It's all energy, and in reality, a whole nother webinar, yes, but they really are super interconnected.
Right. And we literally could talk about so many things, because I know chakras is another thing that you guys talk a lot about, and you and I have talked a lot about it, and that's another source of inner healing, and we're really getting kind of in tuning all of our chakras, you know, to really help our body stay in alignment, you know. Well,
and the other cool thing too is, you know, as you know, our body's nutritional needs change as we age. And also, you know, our environment plays a huge role in that, our stress, there's outside factors. But I've met people, so the heart in general, the emotion of the heart, ironically, is bitter, right? So it craves bitter foods. And I've talked with people who have never in their life ever enjoyed coffee. And then all of a sudden one day they were craving coffee, and they now drink coffee. And when you look at the emotions of the heart.
I didn't know if that was Joseph poking in. I'm not sure who it was, but they didn't shut the door. Let me keep talking.
So, you know, when you're looking at the different emotions of the heart region, you know, you can specifically ask people, you know, at what point in time did you start craving coffee, and what was a major event in your life that you remember around that time? And 10 times out of 10, people will be like, oh my gosh, this is what happened. And then all of a sudden that organ became depleted or weakened, or that chakra was closed. And so the body starts craving foods that help balance it.
That is incredibly interesting, because I think when we were in Tampa, no, where were we? We were in Daytona together. Were we talking about, like, one day I used to drink coffee, and one day I woke up and said, you know, I'm kind of done with coffee.
Yeah.
And then now recently I've been like, I think I'll have a cup of coffee, you know?
Yes.
And like this morning, you know, I never drank like a full, I used to drink a pot of coffee a day. And then I just, with cream and sugar. And then one morning I just woke up and went like, I'm kind of over that. And then when I started drinking it again, it was like 2 years later, I was like, I think I'll just have a cup of black coffee.
Yeah.
Just weirdly out of nowhere. But Joseph's like, are you okay? And then I just again stopped, and now I've been having like a half a cup of black coffee on and off. So do I need to tell him that I need to be loved more?
Well, it's there's two different things, right? It's either, your heart chakra is open too much,
Okay.
or it's closed and you're not allowing yourself to receive love.
Huh. Okay.
So there's
it actually could be either way.
Yep, it could
Because
be.
it's just been like since we opened our businesses back up that now I'm like, I think I'll have some coffee.
Yes, exactly.
I'm like, I think I need a little cup of coffee this morning.
I know it, right? Well, and it's interesting now because we're, in spring, almost into summer, and so our liver chi is just completely rising. So I always tell people that, spring, if you ever have to make massive change in your life, you're going to change a new job, you're going to have a baby, let's say you needed to have a separation, what have you, spring is the best time to do it because our liver energy, if you look at all the flowers, I don't know how much sprouting happens in the spring in Florida, but I know in Michigan.
It's not the same, but we do get it's a different type of spring down here. But when I lived in Ohio, like the tulips coming up were always like, I loved that. It's like the snow would be, you'd see the little tulips coming up through the snow and the little green buds on the trees. And I was like, there is life.
Yeah.
There's life after the snow,
Yes, that's essentially our liver chi or our liver energy ascending. And that's what drives us. When you talked about opening your heart and get, go between the heart chakra and the liver.
Well, also maybe because we all drank a lot during COVID.
But ironically enough, the emotions of the liver are anger and pent up frustration and bitterness.
Isn't that crazy? That's wow. I mean, it's not crazy. It's actually really cool. We have a couple more minutes. I know you had a couple of books there, and I love the one book that you showed. What's
the other one that I really like by Mark David is Nourishing Wisdom. This one is a nice collective, and again, you can find these on Amazon. This one is a really nice, how do I describe this book? Eclectic variety of, it covers things like, body image, cravings, whole body eating. So we talk about mindful eating and how a lot of times food sensitivities and allergies not only arise from a weakened immune system, so stress on the body, but also the way that we mentally digest food before we eat it. So if we've labeled food like pizza as bad, high in carbs, and only something that we can have once a year,
and we feel guilty about it before we eat it,
and that's the only thing that we have to eat, and all of a sudden our stress hormones go because we're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I don't want to be rude, but that's bad. We've labeled that as bad. You can expect to not digest that meal well because you're not digesting it with your eyes well.
Let me ask you this on that one. Oh, go ahead.
Well, essentially, it's a mind-body approach to nutrition and well-being.
So I'm going to get both of those, and you should tell them, hey, I plugged your books. Can I get? But you know what is one thing that's weird with me, and Joseph always gives me a hard time, but I like to have a lot of colors on my plate because I love vegetables, So he's gotten good where he'll put, like, if we have like broccoli rabe and sausage and pasta, he'll throw like some roasted red pepper in there because I want the red, or I'll slice up a tomato. I want the red. If I've got like green and white, I want to have like the red or the oranges, or if I don't have like multiple colors on my plate, I don't enjoy the meal.
Heart.
That's a heart thing again? Maybe I should have coffee with it.
Coffee crusted.
Coffee. I'll have coffee crusted. Yeah. Okay.
Coffee glazed that.
See, I need to learn more about because I just think, I love eating vegetables, so I want all the different color vegetables on my plate. But it really is, I'm loving my vegetables.
Well,
or I'm like loving too many people and I need my vegetables. I don't know.
Well, and in closing, the whole concept of, health and wellness is ever changing, ever evolving. There are so many different subjects and topics. I always like to encourage people who are just getting into it. If they have an ailment or they have like a little pulsation over here, their eye is twitching, or they've got pain in their left knee, one really great way to start diving into your holistic educational journey is to always plug in TCM, which stands for traditional Chinese medicine, and then whatever the ailment is. You will
So
learn about
Google it.
meridians. You will learn about, our
So you're saying like plug in, like type in if you're doing a search, whether it's Bing or Google or Yahoo or whatever, TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, and then knee pain, or TCM foot pain, or TCM, why do I need coffee in the morning?
Craving vegetables that are red. TCM, craving coffee, yes. And you will be amazed at the information that isn't talked about a lot, but you'll start to connect the dots, like the fix your mood with food or the mind-body approach. You'll start to see that there's a whole other world of health and wellness out there that makes sense, that a lot of people and platforms aren't talking about. So.
Right. I just absolutely love that and love you. And I just, I can't even, we were going to see each other in the spring here, and then this whole thing happened. So I don't know when you're going to be able to make it down here, but when you do, I would think you have to come here and spa and give a little talk.
We are supposed to, if our governor allows us to. There's talk that we will be open June 15, but hey, I'm still in May. I can come visit.
I know, and we're right here, and we're open. We have an extra bedroom too. So,
are your guys' beaches open?
I think Del Rey opened on Monday, but I don't think Boca is yet. I don't know for sure because we've been too busy to want to go to the beach. I know our pools are still not open, and I think gym's just open, but I don't know how long that's going to be because I think I don't know. I'm saying things I don't know. I keep saying I think, so I should just not.
Yeah, that's how it is everywhere.
Yeah. So, but as soon as the beach is open, I'll Google TCM beaches in Florida. No, I'm just playing. But let me see if it doesn't look like we have any questions, but we did record this, and I will be emailing it out to you probably a little later today because Dr. Gill will have to convert it and all of that after she's done. So as soon as she does that, I will email it over to you. We'll get it up on our YouTube channel. We'll distribute it to all of our Facebook and, social media platforms and stuff. And would love it if you guys would do the same. And tomorrow we have a acupuncturist on, so that should be fun. I love that. And I know this is our last week doing it, but let's definitely, you and Maciek and I talk about doing a recorded version where we can get a little bit more. And I'll ask a few questions out to our community here, like what topics that we talked about that they'd like to learn a little bit more on. But I miss you. Thank you so much. That was so enjoyable. Thank you for having
me.
I'm going to go get those 2 books, and then I'm going to make a shirt that says, address the stress. Address the stress. And if I forget, I'll go on here and go, what did we say? Rewind that. So, okay, girl. Love you. Give Maciek a hug and kiss. And I'm going to get on Joseph that he didn't come back in, but just slam. So,
bye.
Right. Bye.